Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So, over the course of my 8-year career here on YouTube, I pretty much talked strictly about basketball. I mean, the NBA in general is a pretty big time passion of mine. It's something I've always really enjoyed. But with that being said, a lot of you guys probably don't know there's another side, another passion to me, guys. I absolutely love finances, the stock market, and all of that. So before we start talking about things, I'll let you guys know I am not a trained professional, like as far as financial advice. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on things, but that does not mean you should go out there and follow it, right? But also, I'm not somebody that just kind of came out of nowhere with all this stuff. I do have a 4-year bachelor's in finance. I'm pretty good when it comes to all that stuff. I've graduated debt free, never missed a credit card payment. I'm pretty good when it comes to handling money and just talking about it too. If I was not doing YouTube full time, my passion before this, plan A, you might call it, was actually to go out and just help. I really wanted to help people that didn't know much about finances kind of get into it, or maybe people that wanted to reach a certain life goal, kind of like help them like financially plan for all that. But with that being said, I'm not currently licensed or anything like that. I have a degree, that's it, but also a big time passion about it, man. So I really wanted to talk about what's going on in the world right now in the markets as far as like GameStop and AMC and a few of those stocks. Now, full disclosure, out of all those stocks, I do have a little bit of a stake in AMC, so want to let you guys know that. But beyond that, man, it's been absolutely ridiculous how things are kind of going today. So a lot of people that don't really know the story, I'm going to keep it kind of short and simple out there. I'm sure I don't know every single detail of the story either, but pretty much what was happening is, GameStop, kind of a dying industry brand. I mean, as far as game rentals and everything like that, everything is pretty much done digitally these days, with the few exceptions of people that like to still buy the physical copy. But for the most part, guys, GameStop is a business that sells video games, physical copies. You can return games over there, but if everybody's doing that stuff online, then yeah, I mean, it's a dying industry, right? It's kind of like a video store or like a Blockbuster or something like that. I know for me, I've not purchased an actual physical copy in a game in a very, very, very long time. It's just inconvenient, right, man? Now, some people like the case. I totally get that. So their stock, their financials have been doing very poorly over the past few years. I think, about 6 months ago, maybe less, the stock was trading at like $4 a share, which for people that don't know what that means, that pretty much means that, if you have a stake in that company, you can buy it for $4. If it goes up to $8, you can sell it for that. That's a 100% gain, man. So lately what's happening is, I guess it's sort of the stock was being shorted by a financial institution or a hedge fund. Basically, I guess, long story short, the rich guys, right, man? And what shorting a stock means in the easiest terms I can say is that normally you buy a stock, right, with the idea of it going up and making a profit off that. By shorting a stock, it's kind of the opposite. You might see a stock goes up to like $10, but then you're going to short it. So if it goes down to $5, you're going to make a profit based off of that. It's kind of like betting on the company failing or maybe being overbought or something like that. Or some people like to say that it's kind of hoping that the company fails, which I don't think is really truly always the case. Sometimes stocks are just extremely overvalued, but for the most part, what was going on is this hedge fund was really beating up on GameStop, like really bad, man. Like their stock was going up. They had like a partnership with Microsoft or something along those lines, and yeah, they were. It was showing to the extent where they were just being mean about it, man. They were just being mean. And basically what happened is they were shorting it. It got up to like $40 a share. And there's this Reddit group, Wall Street Bets, I think it's called, or something along those lines. Like, just, people that like to trade and maybe don't know. There's some very educated people over there. I'm very sure about it. But it's a Reddit page, man. We all know how Reddit is. And they went on there and they're like, hey, like we're not going to stand for this. Beating down this company like this and everything like that. And essentially they kept on buying the stock. So you had this hedge fund that was shorting this stock. Let's say they were shorting, let's say it was at $40 a share and they were shorting it, hoping it went back down to $4. They would have made that difference. But the dangerous thing about shorting a stock, guys, which is something that I really want to like stress if you get into that portion of the market, is that there is no limit to how much you can lose. If I buy a stock for $5, and it goes down to zero, I lose that. I can lose my initial investment, right? But what's happening is they were shorting it. They were at $40 a share. They were shorting it, and it got up to like $350. So you have all that in between that they have to make up for. But with that being said, it can continue going up. Like there's no one like, and that's kind of what was going on. That's kind of where we're at right now with this garbage situation. And what's the garbage situation that's exactly going on at this moment? Okay, so you guys all know the trading app known as Robinhood. It's kind of become a meme, where it's like Robinhooders. You know what I'm saying? Robinhood it's basically an app that you can go and invest on. I mean, there's not really much more to it. So you would have people that are kind of new to the market. There's always known as like the Robinhooders as far as just like flooding towards a stock and stuff like that. I mean, I will say I'm sure there's some really good investors on that app, but also there are people that have a herd mentality and it's just kind of following the pack and stuff and not really investing based off of the fundamentals of the company, but kind of just what everybody else is doing, which they made a killing doing that. Like if you get enough people behind something, then you can really become successful doing that financially, right? But for the most part, what you'll see is, a stock will get pumped up really high, and then it's called a pump and dump, for lack of a better term. And yeah, we'll get jacked up really high. You have an uneducated investor that buys at that top spot, then it goes down, and they lose all their money, right, man? So yeah, basically, the Robinhood people were kind of teaming up with the Wall Street bets, and they were really jacking up GameStop. And, AMC, I said, was another one. AMC went up 300% yesterday, guys, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Like, that just does not happen, really. So this morning, and kind of like, so trading ends at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then they have something from 4 to 8 Eastern time. Like I said, I mean, based on what your time zone is, I'm sure you can figure that out. It's basically 4 hours after, where there's it's called the after hours, right? And during the after hours, and I feel like I'm kind of rambling on quite a bit right here, man, because I don't get a chance to talk about this stuff very often. I love doing it. But basically, you can probably tell the excitement in my voice. My friends always say when I start talking about finances or something I'm really passionate about, I talk really, really fast. But they have the after hours. And during that, there's like, some institutions still let you trade, it's still possible to do trades after hours, but for the most part, I know like where I'm through, I cannot trade after the market officially closes. So it's really like low volume stuff, and by low volume I mean there's just like not a lot of stocks being bought or sold at that point. There might be a few, but that's going to manipulate the price. So essentially what was happening after hours is you would have these two hedge funds, the big guys. They were selling their stock, buying it back from each other, back and forth, to make it look like the stock was just absolutely tanking. Because by doing that, it's low volume, so people are seeing all this fear. They're like, oh my God, this is going down 50%. Like, I gotta sell first thing in the morning, right? But it's just manipulation. It's like, well, no, that's not really what's happening. That's just what appears to be happening. So then today, the markets opened. And, you might see that's like down 40 or 50%. So your first notion is to sell. But there was a lot of people that were still hanging on to it, just kind of sticking the middle finger up to the large guy saying, like, you cannot scare us away from this. Like, we're very passionate about what's going on right now. We want these hedge funds to go bankrupt, essentially, right, man? Which, I'm sure a few of them definitely do deserve that. In the end of the day, for how much people have been screwed over the years by these big guys, right? So what started happening, I'm just using Robinhood because they've been like the poster boy for this, but the other trading companies definitely did it too. They made it this morning so you could only sell your stock. It's horrible, man. That's a horrible thing to do. And you have all like the networks and stuff like that saying that this is okay. They're like, oh, well, we're just making sure they don't make bad choices. You are literally allowing people to only sell their stock. And when you can only sell it, that means the price can only go down. And if it's only going down, that means you're essentially saying that you're just trying to protect these hedge funds out there. But the thing about that is that over the years, these big guys have manipulated prices so much, have done these same tactics except on the little guy, and nobody bats an eye at it. It's completely fine. But as soon as the little guy, and I hate using the term little guy because, I like to think everybody's created equal, but we all know that's unfortunately not true. But what's happening, man, is like now the little guy is kind of one-upped on them. And they're like, oh, we got to step in and do something about this. So they're literally killing the free. It's a free market until the big guys start losing money is kind of what I'm getting at with this, guys. It's really bad. It's a really bad situation. So the stocks are all going down. And I'm not going to lie, from a free market kind of means like, we as the people kind of dictate what something is worth. So from a fundamental standpoint, no, AMC is not worth $16 a share. Everybody knows that. I mean, the company's nearly bankrupt. The movie industry is doing really bad because of the pandemic and stuff. Now, not to say it can't bounce back eventually. I mean, if they can figure things out, but they were kind of doing poorly before. the pandemic started, so they were just kind of bad place. Or like I said with GameStop, like GameStop's not worth $350 a share. Even at like their best day, I think the highest they've ever been was like 50 or 60. It might have been a little more. I don't know the exact financials there. But regardless, it's but that's the price people put on it, and people should be able to, if they want to buy into a $350 share of GameStop, that should be their damn right. Free market, right? That's what free market means. And they're basically just showing that they support the big institutions out there, and I don't think that really comes as a surprise to anybody. It really doesn't, but you don't really see it happening, or you might see it happening, but at such like a low scale, nobody really says anything. But now it's really getting like nationwide, worldwide news over, man. Where it's just like Robinhood, they might lose, like the CEO of that, he might find himself going to jail, man. He might go to prison for that. Seriously, like that is one thing you are not supposed to be able to do, is manipulate the markets. And not only that, but people were selling it, and they were finding, because there were still like trade sites out there that would allow you to still buy the stock, but they were few and far between. I would say 25% of total trade up, like I don't like brokerages or whatever, man. We're like allowing you to buy them, and there's 75% that weren't allowing you. So that's decreasing volume by 75%. But the next sketchy thing about it is that anytime the stock started going up, they halted it. And a halt means is you just put a pause on the stock market. You just stop people from doing anything. Now, essentially, a lot of the times this will happen just because, like, if a stock's really going up like crazy, they'll halt the market just to like give you like a few minutes, just kind of like think like, hey, is this something you really want to invest in? But the thing about this is that they were only doing it when it was going up a little bit. When it was going down, they would let it ride out, man, helping out once again the institutions. So I just think it's, just shame on them, man. And that's really why I want to make this video. I know it's not basketball related. I know if you watch this entire thing, let me know in the comment section below. But I wanted to give you guys a idea from somebody that's, I know about the stock markets. I do okay for myself. I have I would say an above basic education of it, but at the same time, I'm not like the smartest guy out there when it comes to it either, man. But I do follow it very heavily, and I was just saying, like, maybe if you're getting into it, maybe maybe this helped you understand things a little bit more. Like I said, there's details I probably could have missed too with it, but it's getting a lot of attention. I know like Elon Musk was talking about it. Mark Cuban was talking about it. You have a lot of big names out there. So, and you have a lot of people that are really against what's going on too. And it remains to be seen, if Robinhood's going to go through some lawsuits or what exactly else is going to happen out of this. But it's interesting, man. A lot of people made a lot of money, but and a lot of people should have continued to be able to make a lot of money, but the way it's being manipulated now, a lot of people are gonna start losing money too. So I think that's one thing that you guys should know, that when you invest in the stock market, do not invest more than you are able to lose. And also, don't go into investment without knowing about what you're investing in, man, because straight up, a lot of people are just investing because everybody else is doing it, and they don't really have an idea of the fundamentals of the company, and that's a very, very dangerous game. Not saying it can't work sometimes, but more often than not, it's not going to work out for you in the end, man. So just stay educated, have a reasoning for your investments. If you have a reasoning for why you do something, chances are you won't get emotional about it. And yeah, that's a big part of the stock market, is sometimes people will do things purely based off emotion, but money has no emotion, man. So go into something with confidence, have a reason for why you're doing it, and win more than you lose, and you'll do just fine, man. That's all I got.